Before we dive into the forgotten wisdom of Zeno of Citium, the man who laid the foundation of Stoicism, make sure to subscribe, like, and comment on Stoic Sage Wisdom. Your support helps us continue bringing timeless Stoic teachings to modern life. Now let's begin. The lost teachings of Zeno of Citium. Zeno of Citium, the founder of Stoicism, left us a legacy that has shaped countless minds, from Roman emperors to modern thinkers. Yet many of his teachings have been lost to time, hidden in fragments, overshadowed by the writings of his students like Seneca, Epictetus, and Marcus Aurelius. Today, we will uncover those forgotten lessons. Lessons that, if applied, can transform our lives just as they did for the greatest leaders in history. 1. The power of self-discipline. One of the most profound yet lesser-known teachings of Zeno was his emphasis on self-discipline, not just in actions, but in thoughts. He believed that external chaos is irrelevant if internal order is maintained. Consider the example of Nelson Mandela. Imprisoned for 27 years, he could have surrendered to hatred, bitterness, or despair. But instead, he cultivated inner strength, reminding us of Zeno's principle. The greatest prison is the one within your own mind. Mandela's discipline over his thoughts allowed him to emerge as a leader of peace rather than vengeance. In our daily lives, we face frustrations, setbacks, and temptations. Whether it's procrastination, anger, or fear, Zeno's wisdom teaches us that true freedom lies in governing ourselves first. 2. Virtue over everything. Zeno taught that virtue is the only true good. Wealth, fame, and power are indifferent. They may come and go, but what matters is how we respond to them. A modern example of this is Fred Rogers, the beloved television host. Despite fame, he never lost sight of his core values: kindness, humility, and wisdom. Like Zeno, he believed that external success means nothing if it's not accompanied by inner virtue. Ask yourself, if everything you owned was taken away today, who would you be? If you lost your job, your possessions, or even your reputation, would you still be the same person inside? If your answer is uncertain, perhaps it's time to reevaluate what you consider good in life. 3. Control what you can, accept what you can't. This is one of the fundamental Stoic principles, but Zeno expressed it with profound clarity. Happiness is a good flow of life. In other words, suffering comes from resisting reality, while peace comes from flowing with it. A real-life example of this is Viktor Frankl, a Holocaust survivor. He lost everything: his family, his freedom, but he realized that while he could not control his external circumstances, he could control his mind. His book, Man's Search for Meaning, echoes Zeno's teaching. No one can take away your ability to choose your response. We often stress over things beyond our control: traffic, other people's opinions, unexpected losses. Zeno reminds us that peace lies in focusing on what we can change: our mindset, our actions, and our responses. The importance of community and brotherhood. Unlike some other philosophies that promote isolation, Zeno believed in the power of community. He preached that we are all interconnected, like fingers on the same hand. Think about the modern world. We have more technology than ever, yet loneliness is at an all-time high. Zeno's wisdom reminds us to cultivate relationships, to help others, and to see the world not as me versus them, but as us together. Consider Marcus Aurelius, a Roman emperor and Stoic, who despite his absolute power, saw himself as a servant of Rome, not its master. He understood Zeno's lesson. Our duty is to contribute to society, not just to ourselves. How often do we truly engage with the people around us? Are we building meaningful connections? Or are we just existing alongside one another? Zeno's lost teaching calls us to strengthen our bonds and live for something greater than just personal gain. 5. The art of enduring hardships. Zeno himself was no stranger to adversity. After losing everything in a shipwreck, he turned to philosophy. Instead of seeing his loss as a disaster, he saw it as an opportunity to build something greater. He later said, "I made a prosperous voyage when I suffered shipwreck." Many of us fear failure, rejection, and hardship. But what if, like Zeno, we viewed obstacles as blessings in disguise? Consider J.K. Rowling, who was rejected by multiple publishers before Harry Potter became a global phenomenon. Or Thomas Edison, who failed thousands of times before inventing the light bulb. Each failure was a step towards success. Zeno teaches us that hardship is not the enemy. Our response to it is. When faced with difficulties, we must ask ourselves, what lesson is this teaching me? How can I grow from this? 6. The power of simplicity. Zeno believed that a simple life was the key to inner peace and true happiness. He saw excess as a distraction, one that pulled people away from wisdom and self-mastery. Many of us today chase wealth, possessions, and luxury, believing they will bring fulfillment. But in reality, the more we accumulate, the more we become prisoners of our own desires. Think about how modern society bombards us with advertisements, urging us to buy the latest gadgets, cars, and designer clothes. Yet studies show that beyond meeting our basic needs, material wealth does not significantly increase happiness. Instead, it often creates stress, more bills to pay, more responsibilities, and more anxiety over losing what we have. Compare this to the minimalist movement, where people intentionally reduce their possessions to focus on what truly matters. By cutting out the unnecessary, they gain more clarity, freedom, and peace of mind. Simplicity is not about depriving ourselves. It is about removing distractions so we can dedicate our energy to what truly enriches our lives: wisdom, relationships, and inner fulfillment. 7. The wisdom of silence. Zeno emphasized the value of listening over speaking. He understood that wisdom does not come from endless talking, but from careful observation, deep thought, and genuine understanding. In a world where social media encourages constant self-expression, few take the time to truly listen. Everyone wants to be heard, but few seek to understand. Consider the example of Abraham Lincoln, one of history's greatest leaders. He was known for his ability to remain silent, absorb information, and carefully choose his words before speaking. His thoughtful approach allowed him to navigate some of the most challenging moments in American history with wisdom and composure. Silence, when used wisely, can be more powerful than words. It allows us to process information, avoid unnecessary conflict, and respond with intention rather than impulse. As the Stoics taught, mastering our words means mastering ourselves. 8. The courage to stand alone. Living by virtue is not always easy. It often means standing alone, facing criticism, or going against the crowd. Zeno himself was an outsider in Athens, a foreigner with unconventional ideas, yet he never wavered in his beliefs. He taught that true strength comes from aligning our actions with our principles, regardless of external pressure. A modern example of this courage is Malala Yousafzai, who stood up for the right to education despite threats and violence. In a society that tried to silence her, she remained firm, knowing that her cause was just. Her resilience not only changed her life, but inspired millions around the world. There will be times when we must choose between comfort and integrity, between blending in and standing firm in our beliefs. The path of virtue is not always popular, but it is always the right one. As Zeno taught, external validation is fleeting, but living according to our principles brings lasting fulfillment. The teachings of Zeno of Citium are not just ancient wisdom, they are timeless truths that apply to our modern lives. His philosophy teaches us self-discipline, the pursuit of virtue, acceptance of reality, the power of community, and the resilience to endure hardships. If we embrace these lost lessons, we can become not just better thinkers, but better human beings. If you found value in this video, don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment to support Stoic Sage Wisdom. Let's continue exploring the powerful lessons of Stoicism together. Stay strong, stay wise, and remember, true happiness is within your control. See you in the next one.